Sophia Blake was the newly appointed district attorney of Yewford. That morning, it was a mildly cloudy Wednesday, and Sophia was driving along Route 15, just outside of town, enjoying a peaceful journey. The first light of the morning and the gentle breeze made her reflect on the challenges ahead. There was much to be done in Yewford's justice system, but at that moment, everything seemed ordinary and tranquil. Sophia had just started her new position, but she was no stranger to the law, having served as a prosecutor for many years. She was a leader who constantly tested herself, taking on the mission of bringing justice to the town. Lost in her thoughts, she noticed the red traffic lights flashing at the end of the road. A police car was rapidly approaching from behind. For a moment, she was confused. She knew she wasn't speeding, her license plate was clean, and there was nothing wrong with her car. She checked the dashboard again, she was at the speed limit. Yet, the police car continued to approach with its sirens blaring. She slowly pulled over to the right and stopped. In the rearview mirror, she saw two officers getting out of the police vehicle. They were approaching slowly but surely. One was a tall man with a beard, the other was a short, blonde woman with a stern look. The tall man knocked on the window with his flashlight. Sophia opened the window, looked him in the eye, and calmly asked, "Good morning, is there a problem?" The man leaned in, expressionless. "License and registration," he said, his voice lacking any empathy. Sophia reached for her wallet and handed over her license and registration. The female officer stayed at a distance from the car, but she was carefully looking inside. "Where are you headed?" she asked, with a suspicious tone. "To the Yewford courthouse," Sophia answered, her voice calm and clear. The man examined the license carefully. His name was George. The female officer, whose name was Anna, glanced at the paperwork and then exchanged silent looks with George. Sophia couldn't quite understand the meaning behind their gaze, but she sensed something was off. She had a bad feeling in the pit of her stomach. "Do you work here?" George asked, his tone now even more suspicious. "Yes," Sophia replied, maintaining a patient voice. "I'm the district attorney." George raised an eyebrow. Interesting," he said, whispering something to Anna. She nodded and began inspecting the car with her hands. Sophia noticed their strange, silent behavior but remained quiet. She just felt that this wasn't a normal situation. They waited in silence for a while longer. Finally, George opened the door of his vehicle and said, a bit more harshly, "Step out of the car." Sophia blinked. "What do you mean? Why do you want me to get out?" "We need you to come with us," Anna said, as though it were an order. Sophia, without getting angry but with a questioning tone, asked, "Why?" "The vehicle is suspicious," George said, his face blank. "It might be involved in illegal activity." Sophia, in disbelief, repeated, "Illegal activity? What could possibly be illegal about my vehicle?" Anna stepped back and said, "Come with us. We're taking you in for questioning." Sophia had already made up her mind. She exited the car, slowly closed the door, and walked toward the two officers. Her eyes were steady, her arms crossed, calm but alert. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice cold and firm. George smiled, but it was a smile laced with an unsettling threat. "There might be something illegal in the car," he said. "Don't you think so?" Sophia's eyes sharpened. "What's your point?" she asked, her voice becoming more forceful. "You don't have a convincing reason to stop me." Anna continued to circle the vehicle, but she found nothing. George and Anna stood, arms crossed, looking at each other and whispering. Sophia quietly observed them. How much longer would they wait? What did they really want? After a while, George said. "There's nothing here," in a disappointed tone. Sophia, now a little more at ease, asked, "So, you couldn't find a reason to stop me? What happens now?" At that moment, another vehicle pulled into the parking lot. A black SUV. A familiar face emerged from it, Assistant District Attorney Richard, one of the most trusted men under the head DA. "Sophia," Richard called out confidently. "Is everything all right?" George and Anna's faces drained of color. Richard walked directly to Sophia and turned to address the officers. "What's going on here?" he asked sharply. George tried to speak, but the words didn't come. Anna frowned, still not fully grasping the situation. Sophia looked at Richard and said, with a slight smile, "Just a misunderstanding. But I need a favor from you in this situation." Richard turned to the officers and asked, "When did you stop her?" George muttered, embarrassed, "We thought the vehicle was suspicious." "Suspicious?" Richard repeated, his tone firm. "This is Yewford's district attorney. Didn't you recognize her?" Anna awkwardly shifted her weight. "We just..." "Enough," Richard cut her off. "Now, explain yourselves. What happened, and why?" Sophia paused for a moment before speaking slowly. "You never showed me any respect for who I am. When you saw me, you only saw a suspect. That's unacceptable to me." A brief silence followed. Anna and George looked down, remorse evident in their eyes. They had made a mistake, and they knew it, but it was too late. Sophia turned to Richard and said, "I suggest you initiate an internal investigation. This is necessary for justice to be served." Richard nodded. "If they fail, we'll take appropriate action." Sophia gave the officers one last look. "The first rule of justice is always to do what is right," she said. "And you didn't do what was right. I hope this story has inspired you. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. See you in the next video, and take care.